This track is an alleged suicide note written by Kanye West. Although that version is remastered by AI. This is the original version. Perhaps you've heard this track already if you've been on the internet recently, since a lot of people were saying that Kanye West is dead after his manically racist tweets on the internet. But I don't think anyone understands how important this track is to not only Kanye West, but the entirety of music. If this track was truly released, Kanye would have been remembered for thousands of years and probably gone down in history like some kind of modern Shakespeare. This is a truly rare piece of music, and I'm going to explain exactly how by splitting this video into 3 sections: context, content, and in my opinion the most important part, impact. If you were on the internet in 2009, you've probably seen this video.
I'm really happy for you. I'm gonna let you finish. But Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time. One of the best videos of all time.
This incident was the result of Kanye West getting incredibly drunk before the VMA Awards, and then crashing Taylor Swift's big moment to give a shout out to Beyonce. After this happened, the entire world was incredibly angry at Kanye, since Taylor was only 19 years old at the time, and her entire award ceremony had been ruined. But I think the reason for Kanye doing this in the first place and getting so drunk is a lot deeper than you might understand. In 2007, Kanye's mother Donda passed away from coronary artery disease. Kanye was notorious for having a really good relationship with his mother, even making songs dedicated to her and singing with her live on stage. So after her passing, this left Kanye in a very dark place in his life. He ended up becoming very addicted to alcohol and became extremely depressed.
I already had the house and the wife and the kids and the plaques. Would still have moments where I felt like suicidal here. Still have moments where I'm addicted to Percocets and don't even realize it, and you know what I'm saying?
On top of all of this, Kanye had just gotten out of a relationship with his ex, Alexis Pfeiffer, which left him even more upset. If we look at interviews where Kanye talks about the moment he crashed the VMA Awards, we can tell that what he did clearly had a very negative effect on his mental health.
And I immediately knew in this situation that it was wrong and it wasn't a spectacle or just, you know, it's actually someone's emotions. It was rude, period. And, you know, I'd like to be able to apologize to her in person.
Let me ask something. I was fortunate enough to meet your mom and talk with your mom a number of years ago. What do you think she would have said about this?
By the way, can I just say, that is a fucking terrible question to ask. Like, this guy knows that Kanye's mother is dead, and he just brings her up out of nowhere. Like, what a fucking stupid question. All of this happened around 2009, and I personally believe that Kanye was around this time. If we take a look at the song Power, released in 2010, you can hear at the end of the song he's clearly talking about himself. He makes a reference to the singer Donny Hathaway, who committed suicide from jumping from his 15th floor hotel room. That song was a part of Kanye's classic album My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, and a year before that album was released, Kanye was working on a different album during 2009 titled Good Ass Job. And the very last track on this album is thought to be Kanye's suicide note. It was titled Never See Me Again. Thankfully, this album never got released, and Never See Me Again was scrapped. But the content of this song addresses all of the problems he was currently facing, and it seems like he was about to end his life. There are many speculations for the content of Never See Me Again. The most common theories brought up are that Kanye was quitting music, or that Kanye was killing himself. I think at the very least this was a pretty suicidal song. Something very interesting about this song is that despite Kanye being extremely suicidal, he still holds this really egotistical character that he's always had. Like, he still believes he's the greatest human being in the world. And he even compares himself to God on this track, which is kind of crazy. I think this could potentially be the result of his bipolar disorder, making him have some kind of like distorted self-perception of grandiosity. By the way, I'll be playing the AI remaster of this song. I'm doing that because it's a lot easier to understand and sounds a lot better. Also, this song is very unfinished. There's a lot of mumbling and unfinished lines throughout the track, so just bear that in mind while you listen to it. The first verse addresses the Taylor Swift drama, and how the media is attacking him all the time.
They want me hold my head in shame, so I hold mine holding head in vain.
I think this is already the most suicidal verse in the entire song. saying that a psychic told him his life will only get worse and that he's distanced himself away from everyone. Possibly the most blatantly suicidal line in this verse is where Kanye says, "I guess there's nothing and I'm finna chop its head off," where the idiom cutting the head off a snake, which usually means getting rid of the problem, is used. However, it seems like Kanye is referring to himself as the problem, saying that he's going to cut his own head off, meaning literally commit suicide. He also just blatantly admits that his life currently sucks.
Aside from the song, and life sucks.
Now the chorus comes in after this first verse, and to me it's the most beautiful part of this entire track. However, it's extremely sad as well.
And I don't like them, they don't like them, they don't like them. It'll be a long time before you ever see me again. Don't worry about me, worry about you, worry about love, worry what I do. Hey motherfuckers, it'll be a long time before you ever see me again, ever see me again.
Kanye starts off the chorus saying, "And I don't like them, and they don't like that, they don't like that, and I don't want that," which is a clear reference to Kanye's current position in society, where the general public hates him. And it seems like everything he does, people don't like it. The next few lines are directly insinuating that people aren't going to see Kanye for a very long time, as well as telling people not to worry about him and focus on themselves, which is a very common behavior which suicidal people engage with. Verse 2 then goes back to very egotistical, classic Kanye West. The majority of the verse is just him bragging about himself.
And I'm a heavyweight, and I'm very great. I put the every name rocking in every state.
However, he does mention that he's losing faith in religion, and there's a very, very important contradiction in this verse as well. Despite bragging about all of his success, Kanye ends this verse by saying, "And I'm alone," which kind of seems like he's giving himself a reality check. Regardless of how great he thinks he is, at this time in his life, there is still nobody there for him. Verse 3 then goes into detail about his mother and how she can't talk to him anymore because she's dead. And he says that not being able to phone call her metaphorically makes him feel homeless.
Almost on the soft phone days I'm homeless.
He also talks about his alcohol addiction, saying that he's going to drink until he doesn't have a liver. In verse 4, Kanye expresses frustration with people such as the paparazzi or media, constantly asking him personal questions about his life.
Don't worry about what I've been up to. Where the fuck I'm going on, nigga, fuck you. Who the fuck is going?
In this same verse, Kanye claims that he runs the world, which is another really egotistical line.
I run the world, it's just a small world after all.
However, he also says, "And who can run the planet? Pass them a Xanax," which insinuates that Kanye feels stressed out about running the world, and I suppose getting so much attention from fame that he feels the need to do drugs in order to relieve his stress. Finally, in the 5th verse, Kanye brings up his relationship problems with his ex, explaining that she feels nothing from him anymore. Something important to note is that in the ending chorus, Kanye says the line, "And she said that it will be a long time before you ever see me again." And I think this is a way of Kanye expressing that his relationship problems have seriously contributed to his depression. Kanye ends this verse by saying, "I'm done, motherfucker." Okay, so there's a lot of speculation as to whether or not this is a side note. I think at the very least it's a suicidal song. However, some people just think it's Kanye saying he's gonna quit music. Regardless of where you stand, I think we can all agree this is one of Kanye's darkest songs, and the impact of him releasing it and doing whatever he was planning on doing would have been a disaster. However, if the worst case scenario was true, and Kanye finished and then released this track and committed suicide shortly afterwards, then I really don't think you understand how big of an effect this would have had on the world. I mean, this is something completely unheard of in music. We have artists who have killed themselves and talked about being suicidal, but no artist of this size has ever released a song as a suicide note and then ended their life. I think this would have went down in history as one of the most tragic events in the entirety of musical history if it were true. If you're interested, look at this video right here. You might find it interesting, and subscribe!